Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Slightly Warped Podcast. I'm Rick, joined as always by Big Show, and we're here to have a little fun because it's that time of year. The NFL season is right around the corner. How are you, Show?
I'm all right. How are you?
I can't complain. Just doing the day to day. You know how it is.
Yes, sir.
Work home, do it all over again. Uh, we have the unique pleasure of speaking our mind to the people, and we love sports, especially football. That's why I do these annual NFL spectaculars. I like to not necessarily give insight because hell, we don't know. Only God knows what's really going to happen. But make some predictions. And
Right.
on this show today, we're going to talk about some things around the league, what we feel anyway, and we're going to cap it off with our predictions for week one. Um, but I want to start with, who do you think is the best team in each division? And I'm going to start
Okay.
off with the AFC on this, the AFC East. You got Buffalo, Miami, the Jets, and the Patriots. Who do you think's the best in that division? I mean, no brainer, but
Buffalo. Buffalo.
yeah, yeah, agreed. Um, Now, in the North, it's a little different, but I think our answer will be the same too. You've got the Ravens, the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Browns, and I'm going to say the Ravens.
Yeah, Baltimore was probably the best in that division.
Now, I want you guys to bookmark that division because when we talk about playoff predictions here in a little bit, I'm going to circle back to that division, and you'll see why. Um, in the AFC South, you've got the Texans, the Colts, the Jaguars, and the Titans. Um, it's a no brainer to me. It's the Texans. Everybody else is weak.
This one's a little bit more difficult. I really like
Really?
Tennessee. I really like Tennessee this year.
So you think they're going to
Uh,
go from a worst to first situation?
I just really like what they've done in the offseason with their draft and got Cam Ward, and I think he's going to have a Jalen Daniels type of production this year. I
Okay.
mean, as of right this moment, Houston would be the best. I would say they are the best in that division, but Tennessee's not far behind.
Okay. Um, then there's the AFC West. I know you want to say Broncos, but no, no, no. We're going to have to go with the Chiefs.
Duh.
I mean, I'm the anti-chief as they come, but if I can quote my man Ric Flair, the only way to be the man is to beat the man. And there's nobody else in that division that has stepped up yet. But we'll get
In
back
that
there
conference. In that
in that
conference.
whole conference. Yeah, in that whole conference. But we'll get back to that in a minute. Um, I want to take a look at the best in the NFC. So if we start in the NFC East, you've got the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Commanders, and the Giants, without a
Philadelphia.
doubt. Huh?
Philly.
Yeah, yeah, without a doubt, Philly and Nelson Shields. Props to you and your team, Nelson. They pulled it off in a big way last year. We still want you to come on the show. Uh, I can't see anybody in that division, beating Philly out for it. It's theirs to lose.
Yeah, they're not going to win it this year, but we'll go back to that.
Well, no, I'm not saying they're going to win it all. I'm talking about their division.
No, they're not going to win their division this year, but
Oh,
we'll go
okay.
back to that.
All right. We're going to bookmark that division then too. Um, in the North, the Lions, the Vikings, the Packers, and the Bears. I'm going to say the Lions still are the best team in that division.
This is probably one of the closest, fiercest competitive divisions in the league.
Yeah.
Um, this year, I think Green Bay will be the best team in that division. But right
Okay.
now, it's Detroit right now.
I can see that. I can see that. Um, in the South, Tampa, Atlanta, the Panthers, and the Saints. By default, Tampa Bay is the best team in that division. And I say by default because all these teams suck.
Yeah, yeah. Every team that's not a great team wishes they were in this division.
Right?
Yeah, Tampa Bay is the best.
Okay, and closing it out with the West. The Rams, the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and the 49ers. Um, yeah, I'm gonna say the Rams, but people are gonna be shocked when I talk about the playoffs later on because that's another division that I want to talk about.
That division is a throw a dart at a team, and you can say they're the best. It's kind of difficult. Um, I'd probably, I mean, if I had to pick one, it'd be the Rams, I guess.
Okay. Now we're gonna work backwards. So we're gonna stay with the
Okay.
NFC West. Who's the worst team in that division?
Mm.
Now, let me give you their records, how they finished. The Rams were 10-7, the Seahawks were 10-7, the Cardinals were 8-9, and the 49ers finished 6-11.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about last year's records because that doesn't mean anything.
Okay. Okay. I won't mention records at all.
I mean, I'm just saying to me that doesn't have any bearing on it. Um,
Not to me either, because I don't believe the San Francisco 49ers are the worst in that division. I'm going to say the
right.
Cardinals.
I don't know, man. The Cardinals aren't bad. I mean,
They're
they're
not bad, but
average.
if you look at these teams, the Cardinals finished 8-9. They were only one game below 500. I mean,
Yeah, I'm gonna say Seattle is the worst team in that division right now.
and I can totally see that because they are going to take a step back.
I'd say
Um,
Seattle. I mean, if you went fourth to first, Seattle, Arizona, San Francisco, LA. That'd be how I rank them.
okay. Now, in the NFC South, I'm going to say the Saints are they're a team that they don't really have an identity anymore. Um, who's the featured wide receiver there? Is it Olave still?
Yeah, Chris Olave,
And who's throwing him the ball?
Tyler Rattler.
Okay, that's that dude that looks like Mahomes, huh? But doesn't play
I
like
think that
Mahomes.
is that the guy that I thought those guys were still in college.
Well, there's a lot of them to be honest. But I can't
I
say
don't
that
know.
now because now Mahomes doesn't even look like Mahomes anymore. He's got the goatee and the clean cut.
Yeah, he kind of changed it up.
Yeah, yeah. He had to dust them haters off. Okay.
I mean, I would say out of the division, New Orleans is the only one that doesn't have a really decent quarterback or an average quarterback. So um, you know, Carolina has Richards or not Richardson, but what's his name?
I know who you're talking about.
Atlanta's got Penix, Tampa's got Mayfield. So yeah, New Orleans is trash.
Let's circle back to Atlanta real quick. I know they've got Penix, but isn't Cousins the number two?
I don't think Cousins is on that team anymore. I
Okay.
think I could be wrong. I don't think he's on that team anymore.
I didn't know that they dealt him. So okay. But if he was still in that team, that's a pretty good number two to fall back on in case anything happens to Penix. So they would be in the
Yeah,
best shape QB wise.
let me. I'm gonna look that up real quick.
All right, while you look that up, I'm going to jump up to the NFC North. I'm I'm going to say the Bears still have some learning to do. They're not going to be
Okay,
a 5-12 team. Oh, go ahead.
he is still there.
Okay, that's a pretty good thing to have two quality quarterbacks in case. So
Cousins is not a quality quarterback.
now I'm not saying Cousins is a great quarterback,
I
but
didn't
he
say great. I said quality. He's not a quality quarterback.
you don't think so?
Nah, he's Elvis Gerback.
Ooh. I would put him a step above Gerback.
2 years ago, maybe
Okay. I
when he
give
was
you
with
that.
Minnesota. When he's with Minnesota, but not since then.
I kind of agree with you, especially since he wasn't with Minnesota last year And Minnesota was one game away from winning that division last year. So
Yeah, they were one game away from having the number one seed.
yeah, yeah, number one overall. Whoever won that division was going to be the number one seed. Detroit got it,
Yeah,
they didn't, and that actually dropped them to what, the fourth seed or something like that.
the fifth.
The fifth seed, excuse me. Yeah, it couldn't be fourth because you got four division winners. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, what a difference one loss would make.
right.
And but in the north, I think the Bears still have some growing pains that they got to get around, but they're not going to be as bad as they were. They're not going to be 5-12. They'll probably be 8-9, but they're going to be the worst in that division. The Vikings are going to fall back a little bit. The Packers are going to move up a little bit, but I think, it's still the Lions division, but the worst team will still be the Bears.
I think Detroit's actually going to fall back because they lost both their coordinators.
Hmm. I didn't even think about the coordinators. We're going to see how good those coordinators are then, right out the gate. So that's going to be interesting. Who do you got as the worst team in that division, though?
Um, I'm going to say it's a coin flip for me between Minnesota and Chicago because Minnesota is playing JJ McCarthy at their quarterback position, and he was hurt all year last year. He hasn't played in a year since he won the national championship with Michigan. Um, However, I'll go with Chicago at this
Uh,
particular moment.
Closing out the NFC, people are going to be mad at me, but the Giants are still the NFC equivalent of the Browns. They can't get out of their own way. The Giants are the worst in that division in the NFC East.
Yeah, it's either them or Dallas.
I think Dallas has enough talent to win more games than the Giants. Not by any stretch are they a playoff team, but they've got more talent.
I'm putting coaching in because Brian Schottenheimer is the new Dallas head coach. He's never coached first head coaching position. They just lost Micah, Parsons. I mean, we'll see. I mean, we'll see tomorrow night. That's their first. That's their
That
game tomorrow.
that is true. Going to the AFC East, the Jets are probably the worst team in that division right now. Not by
Hands
much.
down.
The Patriots are right behind them, but the Jets.
Nobody. Patriots are going to be way better this year. Patriots will be second in their division.
Really? You got them over the
Oh yeah.
Dolphins? Okay.
Oh yeah. Dolphins will be third.
All right. Okay. I mean, I can't argue that. I don't know much about what the Patriots did in the offseason. And I know
They
Vrabel
hired Mike
Vrabel will
Vrabel.
get them, he will get them
They hired
prepared.
Mike Vrabel. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
I mean, look what he did to Tennessee.
He did make them an instant contender.
Yeah.
All right. In the North, Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, Browns. I already mentioned the Browns when I mentioned the Giants. So you already know I think the Browns are the worst in that division.
I'm actually going to say the Steelers are the worst in that division.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Hold that thought because, like I said, I want to bookmark that division for when so I'll get there. In the South, Texans, Colts, Jags, Titans. I am going to say the Jaguars are going to be the worst in that division. The Titans are going to move up a little. The Jags are going to move down a little.
I'm going to say the Colts are going to be the worst in that division.
You know what? Remember what you said about throwing a dart in that division? You're right. You could throw a dart at any of those three teams and they could all suck. So
I just think Jacksonville and Tennessee, like Jacksonville, this is their prove it or lose it for Trevor Lawrence.
you're right. Because if they don't do anything this year, they can get blown up.
Yeah. But they did draft Travis Hunter. He's going to be
I
a
think he's
difference
going to be a
maker
good
in some
factor.
games. So I think they're going to move up a little bit. Tennessee is going to move. Indianapolis is going to fall back.
All right, and closing it out with the West, I'm
This is
serious
a
as a
tough
heart
one.
attack when I say this. The Denver Broncos will not be the worst in the division. The Los Angeles Rams, excuse me, Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers will be the worst in that division. Hear me out. What have they really done in the offseason? I know the Harbaugh factor, that's great. They have a running identity, but I haven't seen anything out of the quarterback that everybody says is supposed to be a winning quarterback tangibles. I don't see that with Justin Herbert yet. I'm not saying he's not good, but he's no Mahomes. And you're going to find that out Friday night.
Nobody's Mahomes except Mahomes.
Well, that's true. And Mahomes wasn't
And
even
that's the
Mahomes in his last
problem.
game.
And that's the problem in this division is everybody's looking up at Patrick. That's the problem. But I mean, you're a Raiders fan. Who would you rather have, Herbert or Gino?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It's not.
I
Herbert,
would,
hands down.
but really though,
Yeah. Look at just take their win losses off the table,
okay.
take that away, and just look at how they throw the ball and all that stuff. If Herbert had a decent coach behind him, he would be very successful. So like he would if he was on the Raiders team with your guys' new coach, with Pete, that he would be successful. The problem with the Chargers is they just like the Raiders Raider and the Chargers Charger. That's basically what it is. And Herbert is a phenomenal quarterback in the regular season. He just can't do shit in the pre or in the postseason when he gets there.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you mentioned about the Chargers charging and the Raiders Raider. I actually think the Raiders are going to take a step forward. They might make the playoffs. That's neither here nor there because they'll be one and done. I'll say that about my own team. I'm not scared. I mean, they got some growing still to do, but Pete is going to put them in the right direction. I think they've finally got a front office that cares more about winning than putting the fans in the seats. They care more about putting a winning product on the field than how many people can we casino comp that comes to the stadium. And that's what it's
Yeah.
all about. You got to listen to the fans. You got to start giving them what they want. Uh, if you put a winning product on the field, the money will come. You ain't got to worry about that. And I think that's one of the things that Davis really has to learn. And as much as I'm not a Tom Brady guy, Tom Brady didn't come to lose. I know that.
Dude, Tom Brady has nothing to do with your guys' front office. He's a 10% minority owner in the
I know.
company.
I
He
know.
ain't making no decisions.
It's not about decisions, it's about mentality. He doesn't
Yeah.
have to say anything or do anything.
Dude, when
I
is he
think
doing it? When is he doing this for the Raiders? As he's practicing for his Fox job?
oh
As
no,
he's
he
on doing his podcasting? I mean, when is he actually doing something for your team?
it might just be in spirit only, but the fact that he's taken a minority stake in it, I believe that that elevates everybody else to say, hey, look, Tom is a serious winner. I better get serious or I might lose my job. That kind of thing. He
How
doesn't
is
have to
that
set
going to
foot.
happen? But when you say, I better step up my game or I'm going to lose my job, who's thinking that?
I don't know who's
Is,
thinking it. I'm just throwing.
is Gino thinking that? No. Is Pete thinking that? No.
Well,
Man, you're
no,
grasping at straws.
they just got there. But that's the whole point of what I'm trying to say. When you use Pete and Gino, they didn't come to lose. The,
Nobody goes
Pete,
to any team to lose, my friend.
oh, I know, but it's a different kind of mentality. Let me put it to you like this: Pete Carroll has a certain air about him. And then who did we have last year? What's the coach
I don't
that
remember his
we?
name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Two very very different styles of coaching, and to me, Carroll is more competent. He has more of an attention to detail, and he knows what he wants. He's not going to shift the line in the first 5 weeks to see who is going to fit in where the best. He's going to come in week one with a plan. Win or lose, he's going to have a plan, and he's going to have an identity. Not to say
Yeah.
that they didn't have an identity last year, but he's put the pieces in place. You know, there's a big difference between Ginty in the backfield and who we had in the backfield last year. So,
Oh, by far, hands down, yes.
the
But
Raiders are not going to be world beaters, but
you're
the
comparing
mentality is going to be
apples,
a little different.
you're comparing apples to oranges
Yeah, yeah,
because Pete Carroll has been a head coach for a very long time. Your head
right,
coach last year, that was his first shot,
right.
and he sucked at it. He wasn't even a decent linebacker when he played. I mean, he was an average guy. He wasn't a world beater, you know. If he was, we wouldn't have forgot his name. And hell, he was your head coach.
Yeah, I mean,
But here's my thing.
okay.
Pete, yes, Pete is going to get you guys pointed in a decent direction, but what he's going to end up doing is the same shit he did in Seattle. Genty's going to need 2 yards to score the winning touchdown, and he's going to have Geno throw it, and the Chiefs are going to pick six it all the way back, and y'all ain't going to make the playoffs. That's what's going to happen. His ego is too big, and he's on a team that allows big egos.
Well, we shall see about that. I
Now,
mean,
with that being said, I do think they'll be much improved.
I see
I,
Ginty on the
I,
1 yard line. It better be a handoff.
Genty, well, why? I mean, uh, Marshawn Lynch was on the 1 yard line and they passed in the Super Bowl.
And it should have been a
So
handoff. It,
exactly, but Pete's not going to remember. Pete did the same thing when he was at USC and lost the game to Texas when he had Reggie Bush. He
true.
did the exact same thing. But I digress. Genty is going to be. Genty reminds me what Kareem Hunt was when he first came into the league.
Hmm.
Same body style, same running style. Genty's going to be a problem. He's definitely going to be a problem. Y'all defense needs work.
A lot of work. Um, our, our line is decent. Our secondary is trash. If you have any kind of receiver, you want to see Vegas on the schedule because you can take advantage of that. You can exploit that field all day long.
I mean, the way that people are going to beat you guys is they're going to go up by 3 scores, and you guys it's going to take Genty out the game because you guys are going to
Yeah,
have to pass to stay in the game.
I don't disagree with
But I
that.
mean, but your wide receivers aren't nothing to write home about either. I mean, you brought Cooper back, but big whoop. I mean, he's not going to be
No,
the same guy he was when you drafted him.
I see what Carroll's doing there. The youngsters, he's just going to kind of gradually move up over the course of the year. I mean, Dante Thornton is already going to start, but he's going to be opposite of Jacoby Myers. And we know Jacoby, he's a good receiver, but he's not really a number one. He's a glorified number two. On any other team, I think Jacoby Myers would be a number two.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think all your receivers are pretty average.
well, we've drafted Jack Betch, and
They're
Betch
kind of
will
like,
eventually be a number one.
except for your tight end,
Oh, yeah, Brock Bowers is a beast.
is
But
the that's who's going to be him
if
and
you
Genty
double
are going
team
to be.
Bowers and take Ginty out the game with the scores, I mean, you're right. We're in trouble. Our only hope is that line getting to the quarterback to uh, throw his timing off. If not, that secondary is going to get picked apart all day long.
Yeah, I definitely think you guys will be much improved, but I
But
think you guys are still a year away.
I do think the Raiders will sneak into the playoffs. Going back to the AFC, I mean, the AFC North, the Steelers, who made the playoffs last year, will not make the playoffs this year. And I think that's the big difference to me in the AFC. I think all the quote unquote regular players will still be there. Buffalo's going to be there in the end. KC's going to be there in the end. Uh, the Ravens will be there in the end, and the Texans. I just don't see anybody beating out those teams for the top spot at the end of this year in the AFC, especially in the West. The Chiefs are still that team. They are that team. Um, I'll make fun of them for a long time about what happened to them in the Super Bowl, but let's be real, it's not going to happen again. You got to
Well, it
beat them
might.
other ways. Not
I
that
mean, it
bad.
might.
Not that bad.
Well,
They
Tampa
might
did the same
exploit
thing
them.
to us.
Yeah, but not the way Philly did, though.
Sure,
It
Tampa destroyed us, man. It was 31-9. That was the final score.
okay, but how much of it was Kansas City having a bad night and Philly having a great night? I think
It was our offensive line. That was the same problem that we had against Tampa Bay.
okay,
If we had the offensive line of 2 years ago when we played the Niners in the Super Bowl,
yeah.
it wouldn't, Philly still may have won, don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't have been like that.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything from Philly because if you remember, I picked Philly to win that game, but I don't think anybody picked that score for the game. So I thought it was going to be a
I mean, what
shootout
was
for
the
real.
score? 40-22? I mean,
Yeah,
it's not as bad as it looked, but it was bad.
Philly had a hell of a second quarter.
Yeah, Philly took us behind the woodshed. I mean, they beat our ass. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
But hey, good for y'all. We still, we're still the perennial people there. So
All right. All right. This one's easy. He can go with any division, any conference. Who's your most overrated player?
most overrated player.
Yes,
I'm going to say AFC. It would have to be my man A-Rod. Most overrated player.
that's where I was going with mine. So we are in total
Aaron
agreement.
Rodgers, definitely most
And I've
overrated.
got a quarterback in the NFC. You're probably going to say no, you're wrong, but I'm
Go
still going
ahead.
to say is Dak Prescott. Is Dak really
Mm,
that good? I mean, I'm not saying he's bad, but I am saying he's a bit overrated.
I mean, I'm not gonna like debate that you're right or wrong on that. I mean, I think most of his flack is because he has a star on his helmet. Nobody likes Dallas unless you're
Yeah,
a diehard Dallas fan. Dallas, or I mean, Dak isn't a bad quarterback. He's not. I mean, if you put Dak, excuse me, if you put Dak on the New Orleans Saints, you would give New Orleans Saints a fighting chance.
true. True.
Um, However, I think Dallas's problem is Jerry Jones. I mean, if Jerry Jones would just own the team and sit back like Robert Kraft or the Hunts or anybody else that owns the team and not try to put his fingers in it, they might have some success. But I'm not gonna argue with that pick. That's not a bad pick at all. My other one is overrated would be the Rams quarterback.
Mm, Stafford, huh?
Yeah. I
Wow.
think I think he's living off of his past versus it's in his future.
I
Same
can't
with Aaron
say that
Rodgers.
you're I can't say that you're wrong with that. I think Rogers more so, yeah. So, just like you said about me and Dak, I can't say that you're wrong with that at all about Stafford. Um, it worked at the time, for both the Lions and the Rams, but
Hmm.
you're right, he's on borrowed time. Okay, so check it out. Do, 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 do. There it is. Let's look at the week one predictions. Cowboys
All
are at
right.
the Eagles on Thursday. I got the Eagles. Who you got?
Eagles.
Chiefs at the Chargers in Brazil. I got the Chiefs.
Same.
Sunday, them there Buccaneers are at the Falcons. I'm going with the Bucks.
Same.
Bengals at the Browns. I'm going with the Bengals.
I'm gonna go with the Browns just because they own Joe Burrow. I don't see it changing.
Ooh, okay, okay. Dolphins at the Colts. I'm going with the Fins.
Mm. Yeah, I'll pick Miami.
Here's one that we might have to see a little different. Raiders at the Patriots. I'm going to go with the Raiders, not because I'm a Raider fan, but because I think that both teams are going to have trouble scoring and it might be a field goal fest.
I'm gonna go with the Patriots, and you'll be surprised how good they are.
You know what? If you're right, I will make a bookmark on this and mention this on the podcast next week. Cardinals at the Saints. I'm going with the Cards.
Same.
Steelers at the Jets. Now I know you mentioned
I'm going with
the
the
Jets
Steelers.
might. Okay, I was going to say I'm going with the Steelers as well. Um, Giants at the Commanders. Gee, I wonder who I'm going with here. Yeah, I'm going with the Commanders.
Commanders. Yeah,
Panthers at the Jaguars. I'm going to say the Jags.
I'm going the Panthers.
Woo! Okay. I I wouldn't be shocked if you were right because that quarterback, I forget his name, it still escapes me. He does play very, very good. Titans at the Broncos. I'm gonna go with the Broncos.
Same.
49ers at the Seahawks. I'm gonna go with the 49ers.
Who was the Seahawks quarterback?
Not Geno Smith. I don't know.
I guess I'm gonna go with the Niners as well.
Lions at the Packers. I'm gonna say the
Mm,
Lions,
I'm
but
picking the Pack.
you picking the Packers?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I can see it. It's in Green Bay. If this was late in the season and they played, well, they're in the same division, so they will. But if they were playing in Green Bay late in the season, I would go with Green Bay. But I'm gonna still go with the Lions on this. You're gonna go with the Pack. Okay. Texans at the Rams. I'm
Houston.
gonna go with the Rams on this, simply
Going with
because of
Houston.
the Rams defense. You're going with Houston? Okay.
Yep. You said simply because of the Rams defense. Name a defensive player on the Rams.
That one dude.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know anybody on defense on the Texans either. So um I just know that they could score, but they couldn't stop anybody. And
Will
that
Anderson.
that could be a factor. Ain't he been in the league 20 years?
No, he's like third year in.
I'm thinking about somebody else then.
Left. He's their pass rusher. He's a beast.
Okay. Ravens at the Bills to close it out Sunday night. This is gonna be a dandy, but I'm gonna go with the Bills because the Ravens just seem like every year they get a slow start.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to beat Buffalo in Buffalo first game of the year, but that's going to be a fun game to watch.
True.
So yeah, I'm going to say Buffalo.
And we closed the week one out Monday with the Bears at, oh, excuse me, the Vikings at the Bears.
I'm
I'm
gonna go
going to say the
Minnesota.
Vikings. Okay, we're in agreement on that. Okay, so we have a couple that we differ on. And before we close it out, I want to do two things. I want to first take time to remind everybody that in our any given Sunday on Facebook Picks League, I am the champion. So, Candace, remember that. Um, I'm coming for back to back. And I want to read something to you, show before we close up.
All right.
This is from Mike Tyson. Saw this on Facebook. Um, I'll be 60 next year, and I'm not here to impress anyone. I've been the champion. I've been the villain. I've had gold around my waist and nothing in my soul. Now, I just want peace. Everything else is noise. I grew up where love was tough and fists were currency. I didn't learn kindness, I learned survival. By 13, I had been arrested 38 times. By 20, I was the youngest heavyweight champion in history. They called me Iron Mike, like I wasn't supposed to bleed. Though, but I couldn't. Oh, excuse me. Uh, I had money, fame, mansions, tigers, private jets, but I couldn't sleep. I couldn't breathe. The world saw knockouts. I saw ghosts. At 40, I started asking better questions. Not how do I win, but why was I always fighting in the first place? And the truth, I wasn't fighting the other guy. I was fighting myself, my fear, my father's silence, my mother's pain, my own shame. Now at nearly 60, I'm not chasing anything. I grow mushrooms. I hug pigeons. I walk barefoot in the grass, and sometimes I cry for no reason at all. I talk more about forgiveness than uppercuts. I don't need the belt. I don't need the roar of the crowd. I just want to eat good fruit, tell the truth, and die knowing I broke the cycle. If you want to know what greatness is, it's not dominance, it's healing. It's walking away from the thing that used to destroy you and choosing not to destroy others with it. Mike Tyson.
Well said.
Yeah, that is very well said. Not something you'd think you'd hear from Iron Mike, but damn, damn good.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me now, but
Yeah,
10, 15 years ago, yeah, I'd be surprised if we heard that.
true. You got anything before we get out of here?
Who are you picking for the Super Bowl?
Too soon, bro. Too soon. Let me
No,
see.
you got to make your early picks. This is football straight again. That's part of it.
Lions.
I think this is the year Buffalo does it.
I wouldn't be upset if either one of them won. I wouldn't. All right, take us on out of here.
We'll see y'all next week. Appreciate you watching.
You guys take
Love each
care.
other.